What's up, guys? It's Sad Part 2 and I'm back, okay? And I know what you're thinking, oh my gosh, another Osamason video, like make something else. But just there's so much content Osamason has been giving us lately, and today we have another interview with the ever legendary Rolling Stone. Like, who would have ever thought that Osamason would get an interview with the Rolling Stone? That's actually crazy. Before we get into this interesting and fun interview though, if you could drop a subscription, drop a like, follow the Instagram, join the Discord, all of that stuff, okay? I appreciate all the support lately, and thank you for 5k subscribers. It means a lot. Let's get into the video though, because Rolling Stone just put out an interview. Jump Out World, meet Osamason, an architect for the next generation of rap music. The artist talks about his third album, Jump Out, and what it's like being at the forefront of youth culture. And also shout out to the interviewer Jeffy Haza and the photographs by Sacha Leka. I always like to show love to the people who do the interviews, you know, because all they have is their name on there. There's no face or anything like all these other big interview YouTube channels, so we gotta show love to them. Also, the photographs were super sick. I'm gonna flash a couple up on the screen now, and then, you know, throughout the interview maybe I'll use them as well because they were interesting, and he had this nice furry pink hat on or whatever. Okay, let's get into the interview though. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, and mostly I'm going to go over the quotes that Osamason gave, but I do want to include the introduction that they gave to him because it's cool. They said, Osamason is a 21-year-old rapper from Goose Creek, South Carolina, who, alongside a small coterie of rising acts his age, is beginning to define the coming zeitgeist in modern hip-hop. His latest album, Jump Out, is a 45-minute trip into the blistering sonic universe of his generation. The record offers a cohesively chaotic vision for the future. Razor-sharp synths set ablaze in digital audio workstations, drums modulated frequencies at the edge of the ear's functional limit, and lyrics like mantras punching straight through to one's lizard brain. A product of rending emotional precision from the endless feed of information available everywhere, all of the time. And wow, what a way to describe Jump Out, bro. Like, I've said this before, but it's super cool to hear, you know, real publications talking about the underground stuff because they speak about it in such an interesting, professional, kind of eyes above the fact manner, you know, and they're calling it blistering. It also was interesting. I did not know Jump Out was only a 45-minute album. That's crazy, especially considering it's a pretty decent amount of songs. Let's go over the quotes though, because that's where it starts to get really interesting. And he reviews a big influence at the end, which is something, bro, he reveals like one of the main influences behind his music, and honestly it was probably the last artist that I would ever expect. Firstly though, he revealed the idea behind the name of the album, Jump Out, and how he came to make that decision. So he says that he actually got the idea for the album's title while in Madrid on vacation. So he was over there in Spain. Quick side note, bro, I went to Madrid and I absolutely loved it. Like, the city is so cool, clean, there's lots of stuff to do, it's beautiful. Like, if you guys have the chance to go to Madrid and you haven't, then you gotta do it. Shout out to Madrid. But he said, quote, I was able to be sober, bro. I was able to really find myself and enjoy myself and look at what I got going on. I felt like I was just jumping out, bro. That just explained my life at the moment. And so, yeah, I guess Jump Out is kind of his way of being like, yo, a celebration of the success, you know, because he's been grinding for a long time, and now he's finally enjoying the fruits of his labor, you know. He's traveling the world, he's going on tours, he's having fun with his friends, and now he's feeling like he's finally been able to jump out, you know. The grind is paid off and the hard work has finally come to fruition. On the other hand though, this time period did coincide with a handful of setbacks and more negative things, such as hackers having recently broken into Osamason's phone and, you know, leaking all those videos we've seen, all those TikToks, all those music, all that personal info. And he said, I pushed through that stuff and I just jumped out to that. So yeah, I mean, I think Jump Out also describes his persistence and him not giving up in the face of adversity, because trust me, bro, like, when your entire digital footprint is leaked, the entire internet is calling you cringe and posting these videos, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I might have been guilty of it on the Sad Part Instagram. Like, the stuff is funny, and I mean, it's gonna get posted and stuff, but for you to keep going, that's super cool. I mean, he kept pushing and he jumped out, like you said. Osamason then actually spoke on the thing that I mentioned earlier, which was that the album was pretty short. Like, 45 minutes for a full-length album is super short. I mean, back in the day, albums were could be hours long. And they even mentioned that the standout track on the album, The Whole World Is Free, is only 82 seconds long, like a minute 22. And if that's crazy to Rolling Stone, bro, they should check out some of like Netspin's unreleased and stuff, like Jade's unreleased and stuff. Like there's artists really making like 40-second songs out here, bro. But that's just the current state of the underground. Let me know in the comments if you think that's gonna stick, though. That's a debate I've been having. Do you think that the songs are gonna start to get longer again, or what? Or they're just gonna get continuously shorter? But Osamason actually spoke on it and said, "I don't feel like a long album is necessary. You want people to just run it back. You should have that album where people can just run it back immediately as soon as the last song ends." And I think it is a good point. Like, a lot of people were getting mad at albums a couple of years ago for being, 30 tracks long and like an hour or more. And Osamason saying that the new kids, like, they just want to run it back, play it through the whole thing and then play it back again. And I don't know, I feel like that's a good tactic, especially for this day and age where everyone's brain is so TikTok coded. Like, our attention spans are so short. So when you keep the song short, you keep the audience engaged, and you can switch the song so that they get a new beat and a new 808 pattern to keep their brain occupied for the meantime. It would be cool to hear him on a longer project, maybe, to really flesh out the ideas and give it more of a thematic, cohesive, cinematic feel, I guess. But I'm sure we'll get that later down the line. Right now he just wants to push stuff out for the kids, like get the numbers up and stuff, TikTok vibes. Then he talked about how he kind of got into making music in the first place, which was during the pandemic in 2020, which is 5 years ago now. I cannot believe the pandemic was 5 years ago at this point, bro. Like, time's really been flying. But yeah, I think a lot of people started to get into the internet and like making content or something at that time. And for Osamason, it was music, and he would live at home with his parents, obviously being in high school, and he would take beats off of YouTube and rap over them, just like, YT to MP3, bro. Find the key, put it in your FL or Logic or whatever. I'm recording this on Logic right now. Shout out to Logic. And yeah, it was funny because he said that he would actually DM the people who made the beats, and this is Osamason's quote. He was like, "Yeah, your stuff is hard, but your mix is horrible, bro. I'll keep it 100. So I heard that and I was like, all right. So I guess the producers, even back then, they were like, "Yo, Osamason, man, like, I appreciate what you're doing, but the mix is horrible." Like, but I guess, honestly, I think a mix is what holds back a lot of underground artists, because a lot of the stuff you'll hear is literally unlistenable just because of the mix. And when the mix is bad, people don't even go into the song like trying to hear the lyrics or the beat or anything. Like, they just immediately dismiss it because of the mix. So if you're an artist, I think the first thing you need to do is get like a vocal preset for your mix or whatever, because I mean, at least your songs will be listenable in that aspect. Then he goes over a bit of a motivational speech, and if you guys are underground artists yourselves, you should definitely tap into this, because it'll keep you going. I mean, look how where Osamason's at now, and compared to where he started, he said, quote, "I was fighting to get 100 views on my stuff. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I was going crazy with the promotion and stuff. I was sort of half-assing it, but still though, I felt like my friends weren't even listening to my stuff." And yeah, I mean, that we all start somewhere, bro. Like, there's every successful person has a point in their career where they put something up that they worked hard on and put their heart into, and there was literally no one tuning in to care about it. And like, that stuff hurts your heart, bro. Like, when you actually try and make something, like if I recorded this YouTube video, edited it, titled it, thumbnail, caption, and then it got 28 views, I would be pretty sad and upset, because this was something that I cared about and put my time into. But there's small YouTubers out there who get like 5 views or whatever, but you just got to keep pushing and keep going, because eventually your hard work is going to pay off. And Osamason was saying that he wasn't even promoting it, he was being kind of lazy, and I think that is a big aspect. If you guys are looking for promotion, though, we are reacting to your music live on stream this Saturday at like 7:30 Eastern time. DM me on Instagram or drop a comment below if you're interested, and you'll get your ears on some stuff for sure. Like, people will hear your music and enjoy it. The winners get posted on my IG, and the top winner gets an interview on the page even. So tune in if you're not artist, and if you are an artist, then submit a song and see how it goes. Also, he was talking about how his friends were listening to his stuff, and I've heard a lot of artists complain about that, bro. They'll be like, yo, like, you're my friend, you should support me, like, why aren't you reposting my stuff or listening to it? And honestly, like, you cannot fault your friends for that at the end of the day, because if your music isn't good, you can't force someone to post something. Like, you should let them genuinely enjoy it. You shouldn't beg your friends, like mass DM them, like, yo, like and repost, like and share. I think you just gotta let it be. If you make good music, the ears will come to it eventually, one way or another. And especially if they're your friends, bro, they're gonna show support if they like the song. Like, you wouldn't want to show love to something you didn't genuinely care about. It should be authentic. He then got into his relationship with We Gon' Be Okay, or OK as they call him, who is one of the most prolific producers in the underground right now. I mean, I love his beats a lot. He said about OK, Osamason says, quote, "From our first conversation, we've always wanted to build a sound that's not biting off of some other stuff, you feel me? It's really just me and him," Osamason explains, which is interesting. I think he's saying that once he got with OK, like, he kind of wanted to escape the Ken Carson thing, and that's why he was saying, yo, we've wanted to build a sound that's not biting off. So he's saying that with his old producers, he was kind of in that Ken Carson lane, or hopefully he's just not trying to deny that at all, because, bro, do you remember that time when Osamason was literally just seen as like a Ken Carson clone? And honestly, it feels like a lot of underground artists that find popularity just go up that way. I mean, we have, like, I don't want to get into specifics, but like every underground artist seems like they come from some type of cloning. But he continued saying, "So when we first started locking in, it was just some come up stuff. We were both working with different people. We were both just trying to find the come up. I feel like after I made my little come up and after he built a name for himself and stuff, it came to a point where we're like, all right, it was just perfect timing." And yeah, so apparently they've been locked in before either of them found like the real success level that they're at now. I mean, We Gon' Be Okay is literally working with Lil Uzi and like big artists. Osamason literally had his song remixed by Lil Uzi and like getting big cosigns too. So it's cool to see them coming back together after they found the fame. And We Gon' Be Okay pretty much produced the entirety of Jump Out, which a lot of people didn't like. They kind of thought, yo, this is a Lil 88 situation, bro. Why are you rapping on all these We Gon' Be Okay beats? But bro, trust me, that album is gonna grow on people. That's a good project. And I'm not even the biggest Osamason fan, but I enjoy the album. So stop the OK hate, bro. Osamason then spoke on himself, Netspend, and Xavier So Based, who were arguably the three biggest, pioneers coming out of this underground scene right now. Definitely the three hottest in this specific underground rap, internet, TikTok scene. And he talked about their listeners and their audience. He said, quote, "The youth really messes with us the most, bro. When it comes to the specific beats we've been using, a lot of the stuff we've been on is starting to get popping, but we've been on that." And so I think he's saying that, like, yo, like the underground is kind of taking a mainstream surge right now. Like all of TikTok is into Osamason, Netspend, and like even the bigger artists, like the more mainstream artists are starting to shift towards that underground sound that's been popping within our scene for a while. Like I think a lot of it is due to the streaming stuff. I'm not gonna lie, like Packboy Max, Your Rage, whatever, like Zeus, Song Wars, like everything is kind of catered to music labels, rap, underground artists and such. Like that's where all the eyes are at. That's where all the kids' eyes are at, bro. Like you see a Packboy Max literally streaming with Wiz Khalifa, bro, but the kids are more lit for him to stream with them. Xavier's So Based, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, like that's where the eyes are at. And it's like these older artists see it and they want to get on that and get that. I mean, they like it too, it's cool sounding, but they also do see the numeric incentive to go with the new sound. It's definitely where the money's at. He continues to talk about the generational shifts in music, saying, quote, "I feel like we all kind of went through the same stuff with us being kids going through COVID and stuff, just having to go through the cultural shift from 2020 to now. I feel like that's why a lot of the rap game is getting even younger and younger." And I kind of understand where he's coming from, but not entirely. Like the rap game has always been young, bro. I mean, right now the youngest popular artists are what, like 16 or 17, but I mean, XXX Tentacion, Matt Ox, like those dudes were coming up at what, 13, 18. Like I don't think it's getting that much younger. I think that there is a lot more of an opportunity for young kids to even be seen just due to TikTok and social media, but it's not like the younger kids are dominating the scene. I mean, Osamason's what, 21 years old, Xavier's like 20. Like they're not super young, they're not teenagers or in school or whatever. He did talk about the growth that he experienced through the recording of Jump Out though, and how it kind of aged him. I think it was a more mature sounding album, honestly. Definitely his most mature sounding project yet. And he said, quote, "I feel like I came out a little different on Jump Out, but I still added old elements of my old swag to make some new stuff." And I agree, like a lot of people were saying, bro, this new sound sucks and blah blah blah, we want the old Osamason, we want you on TDF beats. But honestly, I still hear the old Osamason in him. It's just a more mature, more refined sound. And if you want the old Osamason, go back and listen to the old songs. Where I hate having this argument with people. Like, people are always like, oh, I need the old Trippy Red or whatever. Like, the old songs are still there. You need to give artists the ability to evolve. It's gonna get boring and stale if you keep making the same song for years. Like, that actually genuinely annoys me. But here is the most interesting part of the interview, and I actually really was surprised by this, because he said that him and OK went to a interesting concert. He said, quote, "And OK, he's just always trying to figure something new out. I remember he took me to a snow stripper show one time, and that completely changed my outlook on everything. I was like, yo, we might gotta start making beats like this, bro." And bro, this is actually insane to me. I don't know if you guys are tapped into snow strippers or the electronic side of music or whatever, but snow strippers are a really cool duo. It's like a DJ and a vocalist. It's a boy and a girl, and they're really cool people, first off, but second off, their music is so sick. Like, it's kind of like some Crystal Castles-y electronic. Like, they worked with Uzi, and I don't know, bro. It's just super cool. And it is kind of big in the underground scene. Like, they're not underground rappers by any means, but a lot of the fan base is crossed over just due to TikTok and the youth and the kids or whatever. But Osamason said he loved snow strippers so much that it entirely changed his outlook on music and how to make it. And hopefully that means we could see like a collab in the future. I highly doubt it. I don't think that the snow strippers would want to work with Osamason, but maybe we could see an electronic shift in Osamason's music, like to a more like a EDM thing or like a Two Hollis vibe. I don't know. I would want to hear it. A lot of people might be mad at it, but I would want to hear it. And already on Jump Out, there is a bit of an electronic influence on it. Like, The Whole World Is Free, Round of Applause especially kind of sounds snow strippers to me. Let me know if I'm tripping, but I feel like I can see that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. He then talked about the leaks and being upset about that, and like, I mean, honestly, he's talked about this in every interview. Like, I don't really want to cover it again. It is interesting, but it's not something I'm going to go over right now. He did go into the live show experience though, which I thought was pretty interesting, and kind of how he crafted Jump Out to be a live performance album. And this is something I was talking about with someone the other day. Like, I feel like once Jump Out is played live, we'll see a more shift in how the public perceived it. Like, same thing with Whole Lotta Red, bro. Like, Whole Lotta Red was not a hit when it dropped. Like, people were hating on it and they didn't like the direction Cardi went in. But once they saw it live, once it started getting in concerts, like, people were turning up. And so I feel like Jump Out might have the same effect. I mean, Osamason's about to be at Rolling Loud, California, and he's definitely going to play Jump Out. So it'll be interesting to see how the crowd reacts to that, and like if the show clips end up changing the way that people enjoy the album themselves. And I think honestly it will. He talked about it too. He said, quote, "Performing helps a lot in my songwriting because it gives me an idea of how certain fans react to how I rap. Say I'm rapping super fast. The fans can't keep up with that. They're not too active in it in the shows. I'm in the studio, I'm like, I see the response I get when I rap like this. I see the response I get when I rap like this. I see the response I get when this song is this long. I see the response I get when the beat comes in like this. So it's like I study all of it, and that's all that's going through my mind as I'm making a song, not going to lie." And this is similar to what we heard Netspin say about his album, bro. Like, these artists are pretty much tailoring the entire creation of their music to how it's going to perform live. Like, the way Osamason just said it, bro, the entire, like, the main factor of him in recording his lyrics or whatever, punching in, you know, he's literally just thinking, are the fans going to enjoy this live? Like, is this going to be able to play live and be turned up to? Are they going to mosh to this? Are they going to be able to sing this part of the song? And I think that's super important, and it's super cool to see too that, like, these artists are caring about the real art and the reception of the music. You know, there's more thought being put into it than, oh, let's run through this song real quick, or let's make a catchy hook for TikTok or whatever. Like, there's a real human connection and thought going into the music, and you might not think that that's a thing when you hear the songs, but it makes sense, bro. Like, he wants people to enjoy the show, and that's awesome. He also says, well, this is the outro of the interview, actually, not the end of the video, though. I have some more thoughts I want to share that are important. But the outro of the interview says, and the one thing fans can't leak is the live performance, which Osamason says is going to be, quote, some insane shit. Quote, I'm trying to make sure my presence is just super insane. I want to make sure everybody can see me on the stage, everybody can hear me, and all my lights are on point. I want you to step into the venue, and it's automatically that atmosphere like, this shit about to be different. We in Jump Out World now. This is where we at, and we ain't nowhere else except here. And again, bro, he's just putting a lot of care and emphasis into the performance art. And I think it's important, bro. If you look at any of the popular rap acts who've kind of been a mainstay over the last few years, their shows are insane. Like Travis Scott, Playboy Cardi, like these are artists who've actually genuinely captivated an audience that are, you know, super into it. They're super into the world building. Like these are stans, bro. Like for instance, Lil Baby isn't known for performing. He kind of fell off. Like what you could give it an extensive list of examples, but when you give the fans a good show, even if they're not there, even if they just see a video of it, bro, it kind of makes them much more dedicated. They feel more connected to you. It's kind of like a bonding experience to see the artist up on that stage. Like it's kind of a spiritual thing, I'm not gonna lie. So it's really cool to see Osamason putting care into that. I did want to share some thoughts though about just Osamason in general. I think that he's had a really cool progression, but I do think he needs to step it up to another level if he wants to break through to the mainstream. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, but like I don't know, I honestly don't see the current sound taking it as far as Ken Carson or Yeet or whatever did. Like there needs to be some shift. I'm not sure what it is because I'm not creative or smart enough to know, but there's just missing a little something, bro. He's almost there. I'm not sure if it's gonna be him or Netspend who like break through to actually be the big artist, but it's gonna be one of them. It's gonna be whoever gets that sauce going, you know. Thank you for watching this far though. Make sure you join the Discord, make sure you follow the Instagram, and make sure you tune into the stream on Saturday night. It's gonna be really fun. If you're an artist, figure out how to submit, let me know in the comments or DM me on IG or whatever, and I appreciate you. Peace.